You are turning in 10-minute bulletin of Bình Phước radio, television, and newspaper. You are with me, The Wang, and here are top news of today. Credit institutions support businesses and citizens. Bình Phước aims for $5.1 billion in import and export revenue. Positive signals seen in 2-month socio-economic development, said Prime Minister. Vietnam enjoys 35.5% growth in FDI inflow in 2 months. Bình Phước Provincial Party Secretary Tôn Ngọc Hạnh, Vice Chairman of the Provincial People's Committee Trần Văn My, and leaders of relevant departments and agencies met with local banks and credit funds to discuss their operations and solutions to support businesses and citizens in the current economic climate.
Speaking at the meeting, Secretary Tôn Ngọc Hạnh commended the efforts of banks and credit funds in providing financial services across the province. She emphasized the importance of coordination between credit institutions and government agencies in consumer lending, agricultural financing, and capital support programs to create favorable conditions for business development. The provincial leadership remains committed to supporting the stable operation of credit institutions to help drive economic growth and social welfare, she said. During the meeting, provincial leaders listened to credit institutions' feedback on lending activities and support policies for small and medium-sized enterprises. Local credit institutions reaffirmed their commitment to continuing their support for businesses and citizens in accessing the financial resources.
Import and export turnover has been a key driver of Bình Phước economic growth in recent years, reflecting increased production capacity and progress in international economic integration.
At All Glory International Company Limited, workers are fulfilling orders as part of the production process, specializing in the export of badges and keychains. The company has recently invested in product innovation, technical improvements, and market expansion, securing high-value contracts.
We have actively modernized our technology, established production linkages, and diversified our markets. With increasing integration and policy support, we are also focusing on adopting new technologies and balancing import and exports in our operations. Our import and export activities have been running smoothly. This ensures uninterrupted production, with customs clearance being fast and efficient, allowing us to secure time supplies of raw materials, machinery, and equipment to maintain stable production.
The proactive approach of businesses has contributed to the province's impressive growth in import-export revenue. In 2024, Bình Phước recorded $4.6 billion in exports and $2.9 billion in imports. Encouraging production, expanding markets, and optimizing trade operations remain key priorities as the province works toward its target of $5.1 billion in export turnover this year.
On the afternoon of March 5th, the party committee, government, and residents of Phước Sơn Commune in Bù District, Bình Phước Province held a ceremony to mark its achievement of new style of rural development status.
Covering an area of over 8124 hectares, Phước Sơn is home to 1459 households, with ethnic minorities making up more than 60% of the population. The commune began its new rural development program in 2011 and was selected for completion in 2023. It has now met all 19 required criteria. Phước Sơn rural landscape has seen significant improvements. The commune has 67.7 kilometers of paved roads, while 2/3 of the local schools meet the Level 1 infrastructure standards. All 8 villages have cultural houses with fully equipped facilities. The total budget of Phước Sön's new rural development program reached nearly 121 billion Vietnam dong, with local residents contributing to over 8.5 billion Vietnam dong.
Now let's continue our bulletin with top stories around the country. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính chaired the regular government meeting for February on March the 5th, which focused on evaluating socio-economic performance in February and the first 2 months of this year. At the meeting, participants also discussed national target programs, public investment disbursement, the implementation of Government Resolution No. 25 on management and operations, rice production and export, as well as key areas for the coming period. According to the Ministry of Finance, the country's socio-economic performance in the first 2 months proved notably positive, surpassing both the previous month and the same period last year. Both domestic and international businesses, investors, and international credit rating agencies show greater confidence in the nation's economic prospects. Addressing the meeting, Prime Minister Chính highlighted that the country enjoys socio-economic progress across all fields so far this year, compared to the same period last year. However, the leader warned that the country's economy remains relatively small, highly open, and vulnerable to external shocks. He urged participants to propose management and direction solutions to achieve at least 8% growth this year, contributing significantly to the successful implementation of the 2021 to 2025 Socio-Economic Development Plan. Foreign direct investment, or FDI, in Vietnam exceeded $6.9 billion in the first 2 months of 2025, marking a 35.5% year-on-year surge, according to the Foreign Investment Agency under the Ministry of Finance. The agency reported that by the end of February, FDI disbursements were estimated at approximately $2.95 billion, reflecting a 5.4% increase compared to the same period last year. The report also highlighted a decline in investment capital for new projects, while additional capital for existing projects and share purchases show significant growth. The agency explained that the sharp increases in capital adjustment of 635.7% and share purchases and capital contributions of 88.8% offset the 48.4% decline in new investment, resulting in the overall 35.5% growth in FDI this year. The decrease in new capital were attributed to fewer large-scale projects being registered. Only 4 projects exceeded $100 million in scale in the first 2 months, compared to 8 during the same period in 2024. The agency stated the rise in new investment projects, along with the increase in capital adjustment and share purchases, reflects Vietnam continues standing as a trusted investment destination. Vietnam's largest investors were from Asia, with the Republic of Korea leading the way. Singapore followed closely, and other key investors included China, Japan, and Thailand. The Steering Committee for the Elimination of Makeshift and Dilapidated Houses in Bến Tre Province held the groundbreaking ceremony for the first phase of housing construction in 2025 in Thanh Phú District on March the 5th. During the ceremony, the organizing committee presented symbolic plaques of funding for the construction of new homes to representatives of 20 households in Thanh Phú District. The Vietnam Fatherland Front Committee of Bến Tre Province also launched an appeal for contributions to the joint effort to eliminate makeshift and dilapidated houses program in the province for the 2025. On the same day, the Steering Committee for the Elimination of Makeshift and Dilapidated Houses in Bến Tre Province also held a groundmaking ceremony for the third phase of housing construction for 7 households in Đại Điền Commune, Thanh Phú District, with a funding of 390 million Vietnamese đồng. According to the Bến Tre Provincial People's Committee, the Elimination of Makeshift and Dilapidated Houses program in 2024 mobilized 100.5 billion Vietnamese đồng to support the construction of 1,802 houses for families in need. Currently, the province still has nearly 3,500 households facing housing difficulties, including over 2,700 households in need of new homes and nearly 800 households requiring repairs, with a total estimated budget of nearly 200 billion Vietnamese đồng. In the first phase of 2025, Bến Tre Province plans to build houses for 1,031 households, including those with meritorious services, poor households, near-poor households, and households meeting the criteria of the Ministry of Construction. On March the 5th, at Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu Province's indoor sport complex in Vũng Tàu City, the Provincial Department of Culture, Sports and Tourism, in collaboration with the Vietnam Wrestling Federation, held the opening ceremony of the 2025 National Greco-Roman and Freestyle Wrestling Clubs Championships. The tournament attracts the participation of nearly 350 athletes and coaches from 18 units. The athletes compete in various weight categories for men and women in freestyle and Greco-Roman wrestling using a direct elimination format. According to the organizing committee, the tournament aims to select the best athletes in each weight category. From there, key athletes will be recommended to the leaders of the Sport Authority of Vietnam for training both at home and abroad, according to orientations, and prepare for the 2025 tournaments, especially the 33rd SEA Games scheduled for later this year in Thailand. Right after the opening ceremony, the athletes began competing in the qualifying rounds of 5 weight categories in men's freestyle wrestling. The tournament is scheduled to last until March 11th. And that also wraps up our bulletin. Thanks for tuning in and goodbye for now.